number one was the dream come true, getting to start in the 24 hours of Le Mans this year. I don't know if it's possible to sum that up in a sense, but what would you say about that experience to be there and to be a competitor?
Um, it was very emotional. I gotta be honest.
Mm.
I drove to the event from London, UK, where I live. I think it's a 7 hour drive or something. And the whole way there, I was just balling up with emotion because it's been such a long road to try get to Le Mans. Very difficult because I could never, like most of us, I could never afford to actually pay to be at Le Mans. I couldn't buy a seat, so I had to
Mm.
somehow become a pro, somehow become respected enough that one of the teams would be willing to risk me putting me in the car. Um, and it was the one. It's every day I woke up in my life until this year or until the race. One of the first thoughts that would come through my mind, besides I need coffee, is okay. How do I get one step closer to Le Mans? It truly
Mm.
was an obsession for me,
Mm.
and I was willing to sacrifice anything to get to Le Mans. I even would have half joking conversations if my fiance was having a baby on the same day that it was Le Mans. Holy shit! And it was my first Le Mans. Second Le Mans, debatable. First Le Mans, we have a problem. and I couldn't actually believe I couldn't believe that I was actually going to be in the race. And there was a number of like hurdles to get there. The first thing was I got the call in middle of March to say, Dave, we want you to race with us in European Le Mans and Le Mans. So there was like a
Mm.
confirmation there. But I thought to myself, anything can change between now and at the time, June. And then it got changed to August, the race. So I'm like, okay, well, that
Mm.
adds extra month and a half of risk of me catching COVID or something else that would see me not arrive at the race. Then you have to do a full day in a like this big simulator, which made me incredibly car sick. Um, to run through the flag rules and the safety car stuff and the slow zones and so on. So you have to tick that box and get the virtual license first before they even invite you to the race. Then, when you get to the race itself, you have to complete 10 laps on the Sunday test. And if you don't complete those 10 laps, there's no way for you to do the race. So, if your teammate drives the car first and he crashes on the Sunday official
Mm.
test and you cannot repair the car, well, you're not racing. So, and then I had to get over that hurdle as well. And finally, I got over those two things. And then there was still the case of, well, I'm not starting the race. So, if the car crashes in the first hour or two, there's a possibility I won't actually be in the race.
Mm.
So all of these things I had to sort of check off in my mind as we went throughout the weekend until eventually the car did come in and I got to get in and go out on track and race around Le Mans. But already during the practice sessions, being on the racetrack with the prototypes, um, and standing in the pit lane at night, preparing to go out for night practice, experiencing the track at night. It was everything I had imagined and way more. It was
Mm.
not in any way, for me at least, a letdown. You know, there's a saying like you don't want to meet your heroes because they'll let you down. You know? But this was like meeting Superman and him being actual Superman. It was just
Mm.
phenomenal. And okay, you know, a lot of the drivers say yes, but Dave, trust me, if you come back next year when there's more fans and so on, it will blow your mind even more. Yeah, fine, that's cool, but I didn't go to experience the fans or anything. I wanted to be on
Mm.
a race on the Le Mans track at night with Michelin Confidentials on the car, trying to drive as fast as possible around such a unique racetrack. It's like
Mm.
nothing I've experienced. I've been lucky to experience some pretty legendary racetracks like Spa, Suzuka, um, Imola, Mugello, Monza, but none of them felt like Le Mans. When you get onto the public roads, it's just so ridiculous that you're on public roads. When you hit 300 kilometers an hour, 200 miles per hour for the first time in a slipstream, and then you got prototypes passing you left and right, that's something else. Trying to judge which cars are coming towards you during night practice because the rearview mirrors are terrible, the rearview camera doesn't work. You just got light, and you're like, well, is that a prototype or is it another GTE car? Because I need to turn into this corner now, and if it's a prototype,
Uh,
we're probably going to crash. Oh well, I'm just going to turn in and see what happens, and then it is a prototype. You're like, oh shit!
oh no! Oh no!
So yeah, there's just I don't know. It's just the most insane feeling, and my I was sleeping at the racetrack in a motorhome at the track that the team had organized for me. So I woke up every morning at 8 a.m. in Le Mans at the
Mm.
racetrack, and then before anyone got there, I would get a coffee and then walk around, sort of pit lane and behind the scenes, and just try and take it all in, and then see people arrive from the various teams and so on. Um, because I was racing with AF Corsa, AF Corsa also manages the factory Ferrari team, so in our hospitality, you'd get visitors from all kinds of racing, and current and previous racing drivers. I was sitting there, and Sam Bird came and sat down because my table was free, and he just started to chat to me and have a coffee. And then Antonio Felix da Costa comes in and starts having a chat to Sam Bird, and you sit in there going, "This can't be real." And then next thing, Alan McNish walks in, and you're like,
Oh man!
"What the f is going on here?" But that's that's Le Mans, and like it was just such a cool experience. I mean, unfortunately, our car did have a failure around midnight, but I didn't care. I
Yeah.
mean, of course, I wanted to drive again, but I got to race at Le Mans, and it was a dream come true times a million. It was just phenomenal.